Tonight, in the Anunnaki Chronicles, we follow the god who gave civilization its me, healed what was broken, and found a lawful path through impossible oaths. His name is Enki or Aoir, Lord of sweet waters, builder of Eridu, keeper of the me. He makes humans from clay, outwits disaster, and when the gods choose judgment, he chooses a boat. If you watched part 1, you know the counsel. Tonight we meet its engineer of mercy, but if you don't mind supporting my passion and keep driving more stories, please hit that like button and show your support. Now, on to the good stuff. Before cities learned to breathe, a god lifted the lid on the Apsu, the sweet waters beneath the earth, and let rivers climb to the light. His name in Sumer was Enki, in Akkadian Aoir. To kings he was wisdom, to craftsmen a patron, to the terrified in dark nights, a whisperer of charms. And when the council of the Anunnaki chose judgment, he chose mercy. Tonight, we follow the water lord of Eridu, from the birth of civilization to the boat that saved the world. Don't worry, this gets weirder. Enki literally reads as Lord of the Earth, but his element is water. Fresh, life-giving water. The Akkadians called him Ea, likely House of Water. His city is Eridu, the oldest cult center in southern Mesopotamia. Archaeologists call its great temple the Apsu, House of the Apsu. The subterranean ocean of fresh water believed to sit beneath the land. In art, he's the figure from whose shoulders two streams pour, rivers of the Tigris and Euphrates, often with fish leaping. His sacred creature becomes the goatfish. Later, astrologers will see him in Capricorn and, by association, Aquarius, the water-bearer. His parents vary by him. In Sumerian tradition, he's the son of Ninmah, the primordial sea, and sometimes also of the sky father Anu. His consort is Damgalnuna, Akkadian Damkina, and in Babylonian theology they are the parents of Marduk. In Sumerian stories, he also pairs with Ninhursag, also Ninmah Ki, Lady of the Mountain, whose fates entwine with his creativity. Within the Anunnaki, Enki is counselor and engineer, the god who knows. He designs, assigns, and when necessary, circumvents. In the tale Inanna and Enki, the goddess of Uruk sails to Eridu. Over beer and goodwill, Enki grants her the me, the divine ordinances of culture, kingship, scribal art, music, justice, crafts, and the messy bits too. Conflict, seduction, tavern keeping. Civilization, the Sumerians insisted, is all of it. When Enki sobers, he regrets the giveaway and dispatches sea monsters to stop Inanna's boat. She outruns them and lands in Uruk with the me intact. The punchline isn't who wins, it's that civilization spreads by gift and guile, and Enki is at the source. Two creation strands thread. Mesopotamian myth, In Enki and Ninmah, the gods, exhausted by labor, ask Enki for relief. With Ninmah, Ninhursag, he shapes humans from clay. A playful contest follows. Ninmah fashions defective humans, lame, barren, blind, and Enki finds roles for each: musician, courtier, advisor. The moral is gentle and radical. Every life can be placed and dignified. In the Akkadian Atrahasis tradition, creation grows heavier. A lesser god, often Geshtue Iloela, is sacrificed. His blood is mixed with clay under Mami Nintu to make humankind part divine intelligence, part earth. Enki is the quiet architect behind the recipe. In Enki and the world order, he sets boundaries and assigns domains. The plough and canal to agriculture, winds to the storm god, marsh reeds to craft, the Maguru boat to trade. Inanna arrives demanding more: ports, battle, festivals. And Enki, amused and cautious, expands her share. This is constitutional myth, the world as apportioned powers, and Enki as the administrator. Then a bright detour. Dilmun, a pure land without sickness, often linked to the Gulf. In Enki and Ninhursag, the water lord overindulges. He eats sacred plants that Ninhursag tends, falls ill in 8 body parts, and she, wrathful then merciful, heals him by birthing 8 deities corresponding to each pain. One is Ninti, Lady of Life, whose name also puns as Lady of the Rib. It's a hymn built on wordplay and restoration. Enki's excess, Ninhursag's cure. The world repopulated with new powers. Now the story you know by many names. In Atrahasis, humans multiply. Their noise disturbs Enlil, who sends plagues, drought, and, at last, a deluge. The gods swear secrecy, but Enki finds a lawful loophole. He doesn't tell a man. He speaks to the wall of Atrahasis' reed hut. "Wall, listen," he says. "Tear down the house and build a boat. Make it sealed like a coracle. Load seed of life, family, beasts, craftsmen. Bring the sun god sign inside." Atrahasis obeys. The storm rages, the boat rises, the world falls silent. When the flood recedes, he offers sacrifice. The gods, starved of offerings, swarm the smoke like flies. Enlil is furious at the survival. Answers with policy. Mix fate so humanity endures but does not overwhelm. Infant mortality, priestesses sworn to chastity, limits on lifespan. Mercy and management. Ea is the god who saves, and then plans. Enki's wisdom isn't only civic, it's apotropaic and protective. Charms, purification, ritual. In Mesopotamia, knowledge itself was a charm. Priests and Ashipu, exorcist healers, opened rituals by the pure spell of Ea, drawing on the water lord's authority to cleanse houses, bodies, and even ominous days. At dawn, they fetched Apsu water, river water richly identified with the Apsu, the sweet underworld ocean Enki controls. With a tamarisk twig, they sprinkled thresholds and patience. Incense smoked, a copper bowl rang, and the spoken Shiptu, the spell, untied the knot of evil. Manuals prescribe calm choreography: wash, recite, bind, burn, and release, because harm in this world, they thought, could be reassigned by law if the right god approved. And the right god was usually Enki. His court supplied the teachers, the Apkallu, culture heroes who teach kings, and the sage figures you've seen in reliefs wearing fish cloaks were remembered as civilization bringers sent by Enki from Eridu. Before the flood, they advised the earliest kings. After the flood, their knowledge lives on in human scholars, Umanu. Clay Apkallu figurines were set in walls and buried at doorways as apotropaic guardians, text and image becoming a ward. Greek readers met the same idea in a new name, Oannes. A priest of Babylon called Berosus wrote that a fishman came from the Erythraean Sea, the Persian Gulf, by day to teach writing, agriculture, law, crafts, then slipped back into the water each night. It's almost certainly a retelling of the first Apkallu, Oannes, a memory of Ea's emissary refracted through a foreign tongue. And in the home, the god's protection was practical. If a bad omen struck, a collapse, a freak birth, a nightmare, families commissioned a Namburbi, an undoing rite. The exorcist stood at a basin named for the Apsu, invoked Ea and his incantation godson, Asaluhi, later equated with Marduk, and rewrote the outcome. Let the evil pass to the river, to the marsh, to the underworld, by the word of Ea. This is Enki's other face, not thunder and decree, but lawful loophole and clean water. He doesn't smash the dark, he redirects it. He doesn't unmake fate, he amends it, like a careful scribe revising a tablet until the story can go on. Enki is also a trickster, but a benevolent one. He drinks, gives away civilization, then engineers how not to lose it. He swears an oath, then talks to a wall to keep it. In a pantheon of force and decree, Enki's power is cunning turned to care. When Babylon rises, Enki becomes father and counselor to Marduk, the chief god of Babylon. In incantation tablets, priests open rites by the command of Enki. In star lore, water pours from a vessel, Aquarius, and the goatfish Capricorn stares from winter skies. In neighboring cultures, his profile overlaps with sea and craft gods, but in Mesopotamia his home remains the same. Eridu, mounded above an ancient marsh, where the first city caught a spring and called it sacred. We met a god who prefers solutions to speeches, fresh water to a thirsty land, jobs for the misshaped, a boat for a doomed world. We watched him laugh, get sick, be healed, and still choose mercy over spectacle. If wisdom flows like water, then Enki is the well. If this calmed your night or sparked your curiosity, like and subscribe. In our next Anunnaki Council profile, we climb the stormy steps to Enlil, master of decree, judgment's other hand.